what's up everybody? eRivera94 bringing you another action figure review. And this time we're going to take a look at the SH Figuarts by Bandai Tamashii Nations. This is the Time Patroller Xenoverse edition, it says on the side there. And this is, I guess, the first figure that's being made, or one of the first figures being made for the Xenoverse 2 Dragon Ball Z game that is out now on PS4 and Xbox One. So I never would have thought that Bandai was gonna dive into the video game realm of characters for Dragon Ball Z Figuarts. Not something I really wanted. You know, I want them to focus on the legacy characters, the Z Saga, even GT and Dragon Ball. You know, the TV show and movies. You know, keep it to the hardcore, to the real stuff, not fake characters like this. But I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not hating on it at all. I just felt like this slot or this release could have been used for a Yamcha or a Tien or a Majin Buu or something that we don't even have, you know, from the TV series. But, you know, hopefully eventually we will get those. And I hope they don't make too many video game characters, although I don't think there's many out there. So I know the new game, you can customize your character and all this and that, so that's why there's some weird looking characters. Anyways, this does bring a DLC code for the video game. Since it's video game related, they added in a code. That's why it says limited on the front. And it is, I guess, for the PS4 version, because it shows a PS4 version on the back there. So that's pretty cool for those who play the game. I actually have not played the game. I haven't played a Dragon Ball Z game since Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Tenkaichi from the PS2 days. So it's been a while. I'm a little behind on those. I just didn't really like the newer Dragon Ball games when Namco Bandai took over, you know, Atari. So, alright, before we start the review, if you guys can pre-order this figure now at agelessgeeks.com. You can use the promo code eRivera94, which is my YouTube name. Use eRivera94 and you'll get 5% off your order on agelessgeeks.com. Alright, and there we have Time Patroller. I guess that's his name. It's just Time Patroller, unless in the game you give him your own name. Maybe that's what it is. But he's named Time Patroller. Here he is out of package, and he does look very similar to Trunks. He is sporting Trunks' pants, boots, belt, his Capsule Corporation jacket as well. Very similar to Trunks. He does have a cape, kind of similar to Piccolo, but not exactly. And then he also has a Saiyan Scouter on, so that's pretty cool. And of course Saiyan hair, so he's obviously a Saiyan. And red hair, pretty cool, pretty different. It's reddish, brownish red, but mostly red. So it's not a Super Saiyan God mode at all. At least I don't think so. But there's, I guess, his regular hair color is red, and then of course he does turn Super Saiyan. So first of all, I'm going to go into the accessories of the figure, and I like it a lot. I like what they did here. So we have alternate faces. We do have actually two heads and two faces for each of those heads. So we have the normal red hair head, and we have that face right there, which is neutral. Then we have the screaming face right here for the red hair. And what's cool is that they have the Scouter sculpted on to each face. So you don't have to worry about taking it off and putting one Scouter onto each face like we had to worry about with Scouter Vegeta, the first release of him. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be implemented on the new Scouter Vegeta that we're going to get later this year. I hope so, because I do like that a lot. You know, I'm sure people have lost the Scouter before. I'm glad we don't really have to go through it with this figure right here. I hope they do it for Nappa and for Vegeta that's coming out this year. So we have this face right here. So there's only two faces for the red hair and two faces for Super Saiyan. So that means there is a separate head for the Super Saiyan one. So here's the Super Saiyan head along with the face. And then we have a screaming face for the Super Saiyan head too. And as I mentioned already, there is a Scouter for each face already molded on. So that being said, it's also a con for those who want to display him without a Scouter. So I don't know if he ever takes off the Scouter in the video game, but if you ever want to display him without the Scouter, then you don't have that option for this figure unless you really pull it off, which I doubt that's possible because I don't think the ear is sculpted underneath it, so I wouldn't recommend that. If they do implement this on Nappa and Vegeta, I hope they do give us a face without a Scouter molded on. Moving on to the other accessories, we do have a blast effect, which is awesome because we don't even get these with all the figures, so I always like when we get some kind of effect. It's always a good deal right there. This is a short effect. It's just a little key blast, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Like I said, blast effects are always cool. Since it does come with a key blast, we do have a stand to hold the key blast in the air. So stands don't come with every figure either, so it's always nice when we get a stand. Obviously, it only holds the key blast. It doesn't have the claw to hold the figure that's flying or anything like that. Then we have 2 fists on the figure that he already has right now. 2 open hands, so of course to blast things. We have the 2 kind of like grabbing hands, which always comes with all the figures pretty much. And then this hand right here that looks like you can hold an item. So there you have it for accessories. And as promoted on the packaging, it does come with the DLC code. Here is the front of it. It's a black and white paper, Dragonball Xenoverse 2. And it's all in Japanese, which makes me wonder if it is only usable in Japanese systems. It does say on the back of the box that it's only usable in your country. So since these figures come out of Japan, is it only usable in Japan, or are they usable in the US as well? Because that would make no sense if they're not usable in the US, since all of these come from Japan. So that's pretty interesting. As we take a closer look at the figure, we can admire the great paintwork that Bandai always does for their Figuarts figures. Great sculpt. They did a good job. As you see, these are Trunks' legs, Trunks' pants, but it is a brand new mold because we do have the brand new articulation right here in the groin area that they are putting into almost all of their future and current Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts figures. So they started doing this with Vegeta, the last Trunks that we got. We're getting it with Super Saiyan 3 Goku that's coming up in a couple months. So this is the new articulation that we're getting now. So they did this for this figure, and I saw somebody on Facebook already take these legs off of this figure and put it on their old Trunks, and it looks pretty decent, you know, because obviously it's Trunks' legs. So it doesn't look bad at all. So if you guys prefer this look, then that's an option for you. Anyways, here's the cape. Like I said, it's not exactly like Piccolo, but it is white like his. You can see it's on a hinge here, so you can have it out like this, almost like it's blowing in the wind, and put it down like that. But that's pretty much it. It's not even removable, so it stays on at all times. So the head articulates left and right. It goes up as far as his collar allows his head to go up, and then it goes down as far as, you know, the cape allows it to. The arms go forward and back, in and out. Squeaky joints because they're extremely tight. I haven't mentioned that yet, but all the joints on this figure are very tight. So that's a good thing because we don't have to worry about loose joints, but also you're going to hear that squeaky creaking noise on your joints. That's because they're really tight. So there is a bicep swivel that is well hidden right here. So it's actually, there's a cut right there. Double jointed elbows. There's a swivel at the wrist with a hinge. So it's on a ball jointed hinge there. We do have a diaphragm joint that swivels, goes forward and back. And we do have a waist that swivels and kind of goes forward and back, but more of that forward and back movement. It's going to go to that diaphragm joint. The new leg joints are going to go forward and they're going to go back. You see how that works. They go in and out just like this. There is a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees right here. Then we have the ankles going forward and back, ankle pivot and ankle swivel, also toe articulation as well. In a nice little size comparison here, and I wanted to compare him to the other Trunks figures in the Figuarts line because they sport almost the same attire. So you can see the pants there, the belt, and the jacket. So how they're all sculpted. How it's sculpted differently on the new one because it is a brand new sculpt, brand new articulation there. You can see the groin areas on all of them, and this one has the new one. A lot of people dislike it, a lot of people like it, so there's mixed feelings about the new one. I personally think that the original articulation worked just fine. It did all the movements that this one does just fine. It had the drop down mechanism and made more movement just fine. So I like the original one, and I don't mind the new one as well. So articulation wise, I like them both. And it looks like Time Patroller stands taller than Trunks. That concludes my review on the SH Figuarts Time Patroller action figure from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, of course, Bandai Tamashii Nations. He looks very cool. I gotta say, the look of him is nice. They portrayed him nicely in this figure. The figure is fantastic. As always, Bandai does a good job, and they're killing it with Dragon Ball Z. They always have. This figure, like I said, my mixed feelings is because he's obviously not a real character. He's from a video game. I just never thought that they would have made this figure before they made a Majin Buu figure, before a Tien, before a Yamcha. You know, we've seen prototypes of them, but it never gotten released. This got released before all of that. You know, it's just insane to me. Another thing to mention is that the cape makes him a little bit heavy on the back, so balancing him out is pretty essential there. You gotta balance his weight a little bit forward so he can stay, you know, stood up. So that looks pretty good. He's standing up nicely. Those who are fans of the video game, this is probably a great pickup for you guys, as this is the only action figure so far made from the video game. So for those who don't care for the video game, this might be a pass for you guys, because as you know, you're probably not gonna care for him at all. But it is a very nice figure with updated articulation, paints there, scopes there, and a lot of nice accessories as well. So overall, I do like this figure, despite my disagreement of this character being released before, you know, original characters. So hope you guys enjoy the review. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you guys would like, and don't forget to have a great day. Bye.
That's crispy.